So today we are going to do a brief unboxing, or overview I should say, of the Onkyo TX-NR676 receiver. This receiver is a 7.2 channel receiver. I purchased this receiver due to the amount of information I was able to obtain by reading reviews that this receiver currently has one of the biggest bangs for the buck. In other words, the amount of features and capabilities for the amount of money. I purchased this receiver on March 11th, 2018 for $349 US on sale at Best Buy. Quick review of the box to give you the capabilities. It is a 4K HDR capable receiver. HDR10, and all the other protocols. It does also support Dolby Vision, which is another deep color process. It has 7 HDMI ins and 2 outputs, so that is an amazing amount of connectivity. It also has a second room audio, which we will review on the back, and it supports 2 of the latest spatial audio formats, which is Dolby Atmos and DTS-X. If you're not familiar with those, there's a lot of information online that you can read, but Dolby Atmos requires a special speaker setup with top firing speakers or ceiling speakers, where DTS-X can use traditional speakers and through manipulating the audio can give you that sense of spatial awareness. This is also Bluetooth, Wi-Fi. It has Chromecast built in, so you can play all your favorite apps. It also has, it's obviously wired and wireless. The box is packed well. Inside the box you will find your common goodies, which is an AM/FM antenna. You also have the microphone for the initial setup, so you can get the settings proximate to where your speakers are located to your listening area, and a user manual and some download information. It also has a very nice remote. I tend to like this remote. It's very minimalistic in its design, versus, by contrast, my old Yamaha, which seemed to have about 100 buttons and a flip up here with even more buttons. It was very confusing. This uses much more GUI display on the TV. Onto the receiver real quick. One thing that you're going to notice is it's very, very minimal on the front. Very large volume knob. This knob is at least 2.5 inches in diameter. But on the front we have an HDMI in, an audio in, and the setup microphone in. We also have the tuning reset button here, and we have all of the inputs that you're going to be switching between the names. There is a headphone jack, a on-off standby switch, music optimizer, listening mode, tone, and some knobs for those, which I assume adjust the equalizer, but we'll know once we turn it on. Another thing that you're going to notice, which is more commonplace these days, are antennas. Should you want to use the wireless capabilities, I do have a spot located there with a cable already. Even though this receiver is a 7.2 channel, I will be using it for a 5.1.2, which in that case, the 0.2 stands for the Atmos, or the height speakers. So going through the back real quick, starting on the left side, you'll see you have a digital in, 2 optical ins, your AM/FM antenna. You have a USB port, which is a nice option to have, Ethernet. We have video in, component ins, 2 sets of component ins. I mean, 6 sets of composite in. I don't know anybody that's really using these anywhere, but you also have a dedicated phono in, which is nice for all you vinyl lovers. We have our subwoofer outs and a line out for preamp, which we'll get to in a minute. On your HDMIs, this is the great thing. This has 6 HDMI HDCP 2.2 inputs, and it has 2 outputs: your main with an audio return channel, your sub. Now, this is where it is unique when you get to an Atmos type receiver. You have your front, right, and left. You have your center. You have your surround, right and left. But you see surround back or height. These will be the Atmos. So if you have your ceiling speakers, you can have two, or you can have the modules that go up on the top of existing speakers. And then you can run your other zone directly as well, another zone set of speakers here into a remote room, etc. The cord is not removable. It's about a 6-foot long cord. 2 antennas. So there's the physical overview of the Onkyo. What we're going to do next is hook it up. It's going to be paired with an X900E Sony Bravia 75-inch with Klipsch RP reference speakers, which are on their way. What we'll do is we'll get it hooked up, we'll do a firmware update and see what new features, because again, this does support a lot of the different type of latest standards. Your HDR10, your Dolby Vision for color gamut, your audio, spatial awareness, Dolby Atmos, DTX, and then your connectivity. In addition, this receiver has received a lot of accolades and reviews. The receiver itself is, typical of most Onkyo products. It's a very heavy receiver. So we'll get it hooked up and see how it works. At least go through the firmware update on the next video. Stay tuned.